Okay, so it's the 6th of February 2024. We're having a SIG meeting, special interest group meeting for Kubernetes documentation. Cool, and I'm Tim Bannister, I'm the tech lead. First of all, would anyone like to say that they're new here? Is anyone completely new and like say, hey, it's me, I'm new, I'd like to introduce myself?
I'm completely new, if you can hear me.
Say hello, please. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, my name is Holger Schneider. I'm in Germany, in Hamburg, but grew up in the States. And I've been working for Kubernetes for quite a few years. And I've decided I want to start contributing to the community. And I've started on German localization and also the Brazilian localization, helping out there. I've already got a couple of PRs merged. And one of the reasons I wanted to join the call is because I also wanted to ask for possibly sponsorship to become a member of the SIG docs.
Cool. That may be possible. Let's put that on the agenda. Okay. Olga. Sponsorship. Cool. Anyone else new here? Oh, Frederick, do you want to unmute and introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, I'm Frederick. I've been working with the Kubernetes release comms for the next release, and I have some updates as well to add to the agenda.
Cool. So we have, do either of you have access to the agenda? I'll add you if you don't.
I have access.
Cool. Please
if you
add yourself
post it in chat.
Yeah, please add yourself to the agenda for it'll be just under the upcoming meeting section. I will put it in the chat if no one else has done here. Cool. Right. Anyone else? We love new contributors.
Yes, okay, yes. Yeah, go on. You can go on first.
Go ahead. Hi, Vyom.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Vyom. This is my first time contributing on the doc side. Previously worked in the release team on the CI signal side, which is now non-existent. But yeah, I'm excited to be back on the release team and on the doc side this time.
Cool. That is everyone. Okay.
I'll just like to say a few words. This is Aditya.
Yeah, you go for it.
I'm not. This is not my first meeting here, so I'm not very new. But I have been contributing for around 3 months now. I've been joining the SIG Docs meetings, the bi-weekly ones quite regularly. Just wanted to say hi to everyone here because I see some new faces here who I have not interacted with before. So just hi to everyone.
Cool. And one thing I hope everyone would like. One thing I want everyone to hear is that if you have questions, you know, we have an open agenda. You can ask questions at the end of the call, and we will be happy to help you. It's kind of one of the key things this is about. Cool. Does anyone want to admit to knowing who the upcoming issue wranglers are?
I was just looking for that. Do we have a? I don't know where the list is. I know where the PR wrangler list is, but I'm not sure where the issues wrangler. So that was an unhelpful note. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I can copy from the previous thing. But
I don't know. Issue regular shifts. Oh, here we are. This week is February 4th, right? So that'll be Divya. Divya Mohan will be the issue wrangler for the week.
Okay. I've got it wrong. And who's next week?
Next week, that'll be the 11th, Dipesh Rawat.
Okay. Could you fill in the GitHub username there, please, Nate? Or just
yeah.
Make things easier. Cool. So, on to release status. Who would like to talk about the upcoming release and the docs for it?
I would like to give the updates for the doc sub team. So we are currently yellow, but that's more of a precautionary yellow because internally we were supposed to do the branching yesterday, but it got delayed and I did just a few hours back. And the PR is open, it's up for review. And after that, we'll update about the integration branch status too. So yeah, it's just a precautionary yellow, nothing major about it.
Okay. How about the other processes for the upcoming release? As well as the branch
We have
sync?
not really, so we have not really assigned internally about the enhancements or the after the enhancements freeze. I think we would probably do that, or maybe in a few upcoming days. Actually, unfortunately, our leads, his cat was really sick, and unfortunately, it had to be put down, so he wasn't really active these days. But yeah, we'll get it done in a few days of the assignment procedure for upcoming docs. Enhancements that require docs.
Cool. So
Yeah.
what I'm hearing there is that team roles to be assigned around comms.
No, docs, not comms.
Okay. What specifically is like, are you saying that the release docs team doesn't have roles assigned? I'm not quite sure what you're
No,
telling
we have
us.
roles. We have roles assigned, but we don't have. We are not assigned to specific enhancements. So
Right.
if
Tell me about the announcements.
Not the announcements, the enhancements.
Enhancements,
So,
right.
Yeah, enhancement. So if an if an enhancement requires docs, then maybe some doc shadow would be assigned to that particular enhancement to follow up on that process, or whether pinging the owners, cap owners, whether a documentation is required and you have not opened a placeholder PR and that stuff. So we are not assigned for that particular task. So it's still under progress, but we'll get it done.
Cool. And how about docs for changes that aren't linked to caps? How's that going?
We have not started on that part yet. So we have not actually started on anything documentation except from branchings. But that's something that we need to pick up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions from anyone? Dipesh.
Yeah, just an observation. So I have reviewed few PRs that are target towards the dev 1.30 branch. So I was assuming those PRs should be automatically labeled milestone 1.30, which apparently is not happening. I'm not sure it is by design or something is going wrong. So the milestones are not being added to the PRs that is targeting the next release branch.
So I'm hearing that as the milestone labeler, which is automation. The configuration is not yet in place.
Okay. So maybe something that we need to look.
Yeah, like that is a thing that ask for example SIG docs or SIG testing if you want help on that. That's probably in the guide, and if not, probably should be. But you can ask for help.
Okay.
Frederick, feel free to talk around. Oh, okay. You want edit access to the agenda. You can't have edit access to the agenda without joining the SIG, which you do via joining the mailing list.
Understood. Then if you can add the updates that I have. So I'm working with the release comms, and the two updates that we have, I've posted to the chat, which is we've assembled a new team. Everyone's been onboarded. We announced that in the Kubernetes release team meeting as well. And with enhancement freeze this week, we are going to start reaching out to the various SIG and KEP owners to start gauging feature blog participation. So I don't have any other updates, but and also hello, good to meet you all.
Cool. Do you just want me Frederick, or do you have a surname or initial we can use for you?
I always introduce myself as Frederick. People will make up what they want to, and that's why I respond to most derivatives of it.
Okay. Cool. What's your GitHub username? Frederick, do you want to share your GitHub username?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I just
sorry.
posted it.
Cool. Sorry, I was expecting a verbal answer. Got it.
Sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything more on release docs or the upcoming release?
For release comps, not yet. The primary thing is we're going to start assigning people to reach out to the SIG and KIP owners. So expect to see some activity around that.
Sure. Also, have a think about scheduling this is my advice to you, have a think about scheduling the mid-cycle deprecations blog article, because that usually slips.
Okay, that's good advice. I'll take that back to the team.
Cool. Any more on the 1.30 release?
This is a comms lead here for 1.30. Yeah, we definitely have that on the to-do list for this week to reach out and make sure if there's enough to warrant the mid-cycle blog.
Yep. It's hard because by the time you find out, oh, there is something to announce, you're like, oh, and also tomorrow was the day we would like to do that, or whatever.
Right. Right. I did sneak up last time.
Cool. It sounds to me as if we are done talking about release 1.30. Would anyone like to give an update for localization or blog subprojects? Anyone at all?
I can chime in on the localization subproject. I just would like to do a general reminder that we're doing a PR. Divya has a PR open for cleaning up some folks within the repo. So people who have access as a reviewer or approver, we like to just make sure that those people are being active. So we do a yearly process to clean up those lists, and that includes localization teams. I don't have it off the top of my head. I'll share the link out in a minute as well. But if you are somebody who Divya has pinged about that, please make sure to comment on that issue so that you're not removed. One team that was flagged was the Vietnamese localization as having some reviewers and approvers that were inactive. But I have heard back from them, and I'm going to continue to work with them to make sure that they are getting more reviewers and approvers and being more active and building back their community so we don't have that issue going forward. But yes, that was my update.
Okay, so Vietnamese is looking for more reviewers, approvers. I also have an update to share on Bangla or Bengali. They are not yet launched, but they have got to a critical point that it now previews. You can now look at a preview of the Bengali localization, and there is something to look at. So nice milestone, Bengali localization team.
You are reminding me of yet another update. Thank you. That's a great update from the Bengala team. Thank you, Tim. The Arabic localization team is also starting up. So if you are someone who knows that language and would like to contribute to that effort, they're in the more of the beginning phases. So you can join in the Arabic localization channel and join the team there. They've been pretty active the past couple of weeks. So you can help out with that. That'd be very greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Any more localization updates? If you want to share a thing about your localization team that you're in or another team, this is a good time to share it. Okay. Cool. So let's go on to issues and PRs. Abigail, if you could possibly put a link into the PR that you mentioned, the cleanup PR. I'll just say we've already covered it, but it'd be nice to have a link there.
Yes, I'm finding it right now.
Cool, yeah. So this is also your chance to throw into Slack or throw into the Zoom chat a link and say, hey, I want to talk about this issue. I have a question. I am the author of this PR, and I'm not sure how to move it forward, or I'm not sure how to move it forward, and this needs to happen. So any points from anyone? Branch sync PR, yeah. Vion, what do you want to ask about that PR? Are you asking for people to review it?
Yeah, for people to review it.
Okay. Yeah. it's been automatically assigned, but the automatic assignment is a bit weird because it's a sync PR, and so it's just picked 2 people who've worked on some bits of it, some bits of the changes that got merged. Would anyone like to, step forward, stick their hand up and say, yes, I would be willing to be the reviewer on that? Depeche. I'm going to take that as you're willing to be the reviewer.
Yeah, sure, I can review.
Great, thanks very much. Cool. So we have a reviewer, and then we'll, take care of approvals the usual way. Cool. Depeche, feel free to reach out to an approver to nudge them when you've done the review part. Cool. So that moves things forward for you, Viom. Am I saying your name right, Viom? Great. Any more issues or PRs that people have questions about? People want to Depeche? So Zoom is telling me you could put a hand up, but maybe it's just the same hand.
Yeah, I think it's
cool. And I see Mohammed has put a link in the chat. Let me have a look at this. Okay, this is Arabic.
Yeah, this is Mohammed from the Arabic localization. I was working on some pages there, but I found an issue when I did the preview that the logo was not in the right position. So I did that fix just to help me, like when previewing the website, to see everything in the correct place and check that everything works. But I think this needs to be fixed in the template framework that we are using for Kubernetes website. I think it's Google Doxy.
We use the Doxy theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we use the Kubernetes theme on top of Doxy. You're talking about support for languages which are written right to left, I think.
So I would like to probably check if I can fix that. I will do an issue, but if someone can help with that, it would be also appreciated to help with previewing that. Like, we don't need to fix that manually to see everything in the correct place.
So what I think is that there have been a few people have already started work on localizations that are for languages that are written right to left. And so far, no one has tackled and landed the work to support a right to left language. So this needs someone to do it. I wonder if there's anyone here from CNCF Tech Docs who can comment on the wider sort of general problem and how that's been solved.
I'm already looking at bringing Patrice in because he's a part of the Doxy steering committee, and sort of I'm not entirely sure if Doxy has that support right out of the box, and if it doesn't, then that's something we might need to push upstream. But yes, I'm now looking into this and am intrigued by the problem. So
my prescription is someone from Arabic, quite possibly you, Mohammed, could go to the CNCF's office hours. Is that the right word?
Yeah, we do that every, I think it's the first Wednesday of every month. Here, let me grab the link here and I'll drop it in the yeah, we do open office hours. It was last week.
First Wednesday. Oh,
second. I'm not.
It's the last Wednesday. Sorry, it's the
last Wednesday. Anyway. Okay.
So it won't be for a month. Do we have an issue about the right to left support?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so that is probably something we should do.
Yeah, that's something I think we should do. And if it's not supported upstream, then we should probably make sure that happens upstream as well, because that's something that I think would be generally applicable for a lot of websites. So especially any doing localization. So that's something I feel like either Hugo or Doxy should be doing, not necessarily. We should be like turning the switch rather than doing the development work here. So let's do it.
Cool. So Mohammed, there's a bunch of you came here to write Arabic, and to enable that to happen, we may have to upgrade Doxy. We may have to improve Doxy and then upgrade to the Doxy that we've improved. We may need to work some other stuff. The first piece on this journey is to file an issue saying the website should have general support for right to left languages. And I actually thought we had an issue filed, but I don't see it.
Yeah, we had an issue. You only created that, but you closed that sometime. Not you, but the bot closed that sometime back.
Could you dig out that issue, Fion?
Yeah, I linked the issue in the chat. It's in the chat.
Oh, we did have an issue, correct. Let's
Yep.
so it's rotted out. Okay, I was searching for RTL. Let me reopen this one, and I will derot it.
Yeah, it looks like we've actually got a couple of issues.
Okay, so this is issue 22730, and yeah, we need to staff this basically. So cool. So that's the issue that we do have an issue for this, Mohammed, from 2020, and it's been the previous Arabic effort kind of petered out, and like I don't know if you've heard, we've had this pandemic since then. Or this was during a pandemic. People have found it a bit tough. I think we can return to this. Please subscribe to that issue, and please, I would ask you to comment on that issue, Mohammed, and say, yeah, we're working Arabic. This is relevant again, and to move that forward.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that, and I can also try to get some screenshot to show what is the issue, and probably start investigating if I can fix it, and or if there is anyone that would be interested to fix that. Thanks.
Cool. I'm going to give you some advice, which is that we would quite like to have some pull requests marked as draft to show like this is like a mock-up of how it could look. That would be really helpful, because most of us don't speak Arabic. I don't speak Arabic, not a word.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I can do that as well to show the thing is with the logo, so it doesn't need to know Arabic also. Just like the position should be from the right to left.
Sure. So we'll put in some more complicated, some more thorough support. And I imagine we'd need to move the left nav to the right, and the right nav would need to move to the left, and a bunch of things would need to happen. I don't really know. But the logo, that's kind of an easy one. And we can mock that up, and we can work out what needs to happen and what is just nice to have.
Yeah, I can do that.
Cool. Great. Would anyone like to help work on this? Is someone thinking, I'm on this call, I can do web development, I've worked on this kind of localization. You don't have to speak Arabic, but maybe you'd like to help. I guess you're just scratching your eyebrow there, Nate.
I was both scratching my eyebrow and thinking about putting my hand up, because this is an intriguing one, and I think this is somewhere where I think CNCF can probably help. So we'll see what we can do.
Much appreciated. Cool. That sounds really positive. And if you need to bring in a tech lead, that's me or Chiming Tang at the moment. We are available, and we can try and support that as well. Chinese is technically writable. You can write Chinese right to left, but much more commonly you go top to bottom as well, which is not something we're going to start supporting. And Chiming is a native Chinese speaker. Cool. Any more issues and PRs? I'm going to move on from this one. Not hearing anything. If you start, oh, hang on. Yeah, that's. I'm just reading back the chat. Okay. If I have missed anything, I'm not ignoring you. I mean, I'm ignoring you, but I'm not doing it deliberately. So please just unmute and shout out if you think I'm missing you. It's not a snub. Cool. Let's move on to questions and discussion points. So Holger's got the first one, and then we can take some more points. Holger.
Yeah, my discussion point was basically just a request for sponsorship so I can become an official member of the SIG. I put a link to my Slack post in the meeting notes. And yeah, I would be glad for any help, any sponsorship, so I can continue to contribute and maybe start also taking over more roles like approving and checking PRs.
Let me just unmute. Would anyone who's already a member of the Kubernetes org like to be one of Holger's sponsors? I hope I'm going to hear some yeses. Or would like an introduction to Holger, like, this is Holger, so you can have a chat about it.
Exactly. I'm available for calls or whatever.
Is that an applause, Rolf, or a hand up?
That's a hand up, sorry.
Go for it. Well, Holger, meet Rolf. Rolf, meet Holger. You're both on Slack, so please, move it forward through that or whatever. And if you don't find another sponsor, hit me up on a direct message, Holger, and I'll take it forward from there.
Okay. Yep, I'll do that. Thanks.
I also just wanted to introduce myself as well. I'm one of the localization leads. So it's me and Soko who help run the localization subproject. So also reach out if you want to chat about org membership or anything. I'm around as well.
Okay, great. That sounds good. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, I was in,
Abigail.
I think there was actually a localization meeting earlier today. I was in that.
It was yesterday's meeting? You were in that meeting? Or do you have one for your specific team that you were on?
Wait a minute. Let me check on my calendar.
The SIG-wide new contributors meeting was today.
That was it. It was the new contributors meeting. That was it. Yeah, I don't think we actually have a localization meeting for EMEA. It's just a regular one. I'll be joining that next time.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
So teams usually have it wouldn't be necessarily, you wouldn't want to join a meeting like some people speak Italian, some people speaking French, some people are speaking German. That may not work as well as you hoped. So each team does its own meeting usually.
I think Germany doesn't. I think Germany is relatively inactive, to be honest. I'm not sure about Portuguese. That's a lot more active. Yeah.
Challenge with Germany is that lots of people who contribute to Kubernetes speak excellent English. We want to help those people who don't. One of the reasons we localize is, yes, there are people who speak the language really well, but we want to help the people who don't and make sure they can do it as well.
Yeah, to be honest, a couple of days ago, I was thinking to myself, why is there no Dutch localization? Because I speak Dutch fluently, but then I realized, no, wait, the Dutch all speak perfect English. They don't need a localization.
Well, hats off to the population of the Netherlands. Sure. So Holger sponsorship, that was the topic. I feel like that's taken care of. Anything you want to add, Abigail?
No, but it's great to see that you are taking up the mantle within the German localization. And I'd be interested to chat about you the sponsorship as well as just your experience within localization, so we can help make improvements there. If there's anything you've noticed, please reach out.
Sure, I'll do that.
I actually have a localization update to do. I'll put it on the agenda, but before I do that, I'm happy to hear someone else's point before we go to mine. So does anyone have another question, discussion point? I'm new here. I have a question. Anything like that? Anyone? There are no silly questions, just difficult things to explain. Nope. Okay. So the Ukrainian localization team are keen to bring in a lot more automation around localization. So most commercial businesses that do localization work don't work the way that we work. What's common is to build up a computerized, I'm going to say pattern book, but it's not the right term, but sort of pattern matching database. So if you have a phrase like cloud native, those two words, have a Ukrainian translation, and you always use the same thing. It's a bit more than a dictionary, and there's some smart. So it's not just a simple, because if you go to a dictionary and say I've got the word native, it doesn't know if you're talking about cloud native or someone who is autochthonous to a territory. But cloud native's got context. So it's got context, and it's got the way to suggest things. And if the computer gets things wrong with a suggestion, there's like a click box to say, give me your second suggestion, rather than just live with it. As I say, the Ukrainian team are, as I understand it, keen to use this kind of software. But the sort of companies that do this work typically don't use Git, and they certainly don't use Doxy, and they definitely don't use the Kubernetes theme, and very unlikely to use Netlify and all of our other tooling. So there is a piece of work, if someone's got an appetite for it, to kind of look at, I guess, the three intersections of localizing our documentation, the practices of the localization industry at large, how that's done, and our interest in machine learning, large language models, pre-trained transformers, that kind of thing. Because you should be able to give a page to page that's in English to a large language model and say, give me this in Ukrainian, and get something that looks like parsable Ukrainian. And you should be able to use some of the commercial tooling to tweak that and say, yeah, but this is translating cloud native, and that's not how we do it. We say this. Question, go for it.
I'm very interested in this opportunity specifically. If there's any way I can contribute, let me know.
I think if you are interested in this, then what I suggest is go and say hi in the Ukrainian localization channel, and say, you'd like to help. Any other localization teams that want to take the same thing are totally welcome to do it. But there's folks in Ukrainian that are already, kind of, we do this for a living. We know what we're talking about. They've made some inroads, and I would start with Ukrainian. There is also, because in Ukraine is, most Ukrainian speakers live in Ukraine, and there's a lot of geopolitics there, bad geopolitics. They're trying to do more with less. There's a big drive to do more with less for that team, which I totally understand, and they're really trying to drive efficiencies there. So that's probably a bit of context as to why they're going for this, and I think we'd love to support them. Like I say, any other team as well, but Ukrainian was they were first, and they're the furthest along with that journey.
So this has been sort of a topic around the community for a while of what tooling we can use to help with localization. And the first one that jumps out is a lot of AI tooling. We have talked about it. There's a GitHub discussion that I can dig up the link for, that we talked around the pros and cons of using it for localization. I think our big concerns around using like direct AI translating tools is the scale of the reviewers, because you can submit a lot of context, and then how are people supposed to go and review it? But I do think that we want to support people who, all of our localization teams are relatively understaffed. So if we're able to get something that it works for the teams that are using it, that can be scalable, that can be used in a way that actually makes sense for us, it would be really awesome. I think, because I know it's a really powerful tool, and there's a lot of positives to using it. We just need to make sure we're doing it right, which is like exactly what you're suggesting, Tim. I'm not saying that you aren't. So definitely, I'll try to reach out to them as well, just to hear what they're using, because it's something we've chatted about a lot, and it comes up pretty frequently. So it'd be great to have some tools and some suggestions on what to use across the different teams.
Yeah, I mean,
Welcome.
oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, please invite me to that conversation. I'd like to listen in. Okay, thanks.
I'm going to add a thing as well. So we have cloud credits from at least two, well, no, hang on, 4 providers, but 2 of them are CDNs, and content distribution is something. But we have cloud credits from GCP. We have cloud credits from Amazon Web Services. And we would be able to use some of those cloud credits. So if we need, language inference time, if we need training time, we can talk to the Kate's Infra special interest group and say, we'd like to do this and talk about that. I have to say that Kate's Infra is one of those SIGs that is constantly got more things to do than they have people with capacity. But it's a thing. So please don't rule out AI and ML because they cost money or because they're difficult. There are managed services that make them easier that we have a way to pay for. So it's feasible even if it still requires people to do things.
Depending on the solution that you go with or are proposing as well, there might be other options through the CNCF as well. Robert is still looking for partnerships and whatnot, and so if there are partnerships to be made, then that might also be an option.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Is that another raised hand, Rolf? Go for it.
Yeah, there are also open source tools where you can generate an LLM locally. You don't have to have cloud resources. You can actually practically run it if you have a high-end laptop, you can actually process to a fairly high degree and build models. So that might be another alternative, more economical.
Cool. Yeah, but I guess my message is don't feel like that's the only thing we can do. If you want to train on your laptop, great, and your laptop supports it. Not every contributor has a chunky GPU in their laptop, so we can provide ways to support people who want to localize and don't have lots of chips in the laptop. Open source is great. We haven't mentioned it, but we can also run Kubernetes workloads for you. So that's the thing that the Kate's Infra can help us with. Cool. I'm just going to check the chat, see if I missed anything. Okay, so yeah, Abigail, you shared the community discussion on AI. To bring in more localization and automation. Can't spell LLMs. Just putting that in the notes. More points, people. I didn't hear any points before I did mine, so I suspect that might be it. You're going to get a countdown. Okay, that's a SIG meeting, people. Thanks very much. If you do have more questions, you are very welcome to ask them in our Slack channel. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.